The Dark Watchers of Big Sur, silent sentinels of the California coast. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across the rugged cliffs of Big Sur, a hiker pauses to catch their breath. The air grows thick with an eerie stillness, broken only by the distant crash of waves against the rocky shore. Suddenly, a prickle of unease runs down their spine. They're not alone. Out of the corner of their eye, a tall, dark figure looms on a distant ridge. But when they turn to look directly, it vanishes without a trace. Was it merely a trick of the fading light, or something far more sinister? Welcome to the realm of the Dark Watchers, the mysterious entities that have haunted the coastal mountains of Big Sur for centuries. These enigmatic figures, silent and watchful, have become the stuff of legend, leaving those who encounter them with more questions than answers. Big Sur, a stretch of California's central coast between Carmel and San Simeon, is renowned for its breathtaking beauty and wild, untamed landscapes. Steep cliffs plunge dramatically into the Pacific Ocean, while redwood forests and rugged mountains create a backdrop of unparalleled natural splendor. It's a place where the line between reality and fantasy seems to blur, where the veil between our world and the unknown grows thin. The legend of the Dark Watchers predates European settlement of the area. The indigenous Chumash people spoke of shadowy figures they called the Old Ones, who inhabited the mountain ranges. These entities were described as tall, cloaked figures who would appear on mountain ridges at twilight or dawn, observing those who passed through their domain. As Spanish colonizers arrived in the 18th century, they too began to report sightings of these mysterious watchers. They called them Los Vigilantes Oscuros, the Dark Watchers. The legend persisted through the centuries, with each generation adding its own encounters to the growing mythos. One of the earliest recorded modern encounters with the Dark Watchers came from John Steinbeck, the renowned author who grew up in the nearby Salinas Valley. In his 1938 short story, Flight, Steinbeck made a brief but chilling reference to these entities. No one knew who the Watchers were, nor where they lived, but it was better to ignore them and never to show interest in them. They did not bother one who stayed on the trail and minded his own business. Steinbeck's words hint at a long-standing local wisdom. Acknowledge the Dark Watchers, and you may invite their attention. Attention that is best avoided. Throughout the 20th century, reports of Dark Watcher sightings continued to trickle in. Hikers, campers, and local residents all shared similar stories. The figures were always described as tall, often 7 feet or more in height, and cloaked in dark, flowing garments. They were most often spotted at dawn or dusk, standing motionless on ridgelines or cliff edges, their faces hidden in shadow. One particularly haunting account comes from a Big Sur park ranger in the late 1960s. The ranger, who wished to remain anonymous, was patrolling a remote trail at dusk when he spotted what he initially thought was a fellow hiker standing on a ridge about a quarter-mile away. As he raised his hand to wave, the figure suddenly seemed to grow taller, stretching to an impossible height. The ranger blinked, and in that instant, the figure vanished completely. Shaken, the ranger quickly made his way back to his vehicle. As he drove down the winding coastal highway, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Glancing in his rearview mirror, he saw a dark shape standing on a cliff overlooking the road. It was gone in the blink of an eye, but the memory of that encounter stayed with him for years. In the 1970s, a group of college students on a camping trip in the Big Sur backcountry reported a series of unnerving experiences over the course of 3 nights. On the first evening, as they sat around their campfire, one of the students noticed a tall, dark figure standing at the edge of the firelight. When he pointed it out to his friends, the figure seemed to melt into the shadows. The second night, 2 of the students woke in the early hours of the morning to see multiple shadowy forms moving silently around their campsite. They described the figures as impossibly tall and thin, like trees come to life. By the time they woke their companions, the figures had vanished. On the third and final night of their trip, the entire group witnessed a line of Dark Watchers standing on a distant ridge, silhouetted against the setting sun. As darkness fell, the figures seemed to fade away one by one. The students packed up and left the next morning, cutting their trip short. These encounters, while unsettling, follow a consistent pattern. The Dark Watchers never seem to interact directly with those who see them. They don't approach, communicate, or show any sign of aggression. They simply watch. But what exactly are they watching for? Some theories suggest that the Dark Watchers are guardians of the land, ancient spirits tasked with protecting Big Sur's wild beauty from human encroachment. Others propose that they are interdimensional beings, slipping between our world and another realm that intersects with certain powerful locations on Earth. Skeptics, of course, have their own explanations. They point to a psychological phenomenon known as pareidolia, the tendency of the human brain to perceive familiar patterns, like human figures, in random stimuli. Combined with the often fog-shrouded, shadow-filled landscape of Big Sur, this could lead to misidentification of natural features as humanoid forms. Others suggest that the Dark Watchers might be a form of superior mirage caused by temperature inversions in the coastal air. These mirages can sometimes produce the illusion of tall, dark shapes on the horizon. However, these rational explanations do little to comfort those who have come face to face with the Dark Watchers. The visceral fear, the sense of being in the presence of something ancient and otherworldly, is not easily dismissed. In recent years, interest in the Dark Watchers has surged, fueled by social media and paranormal investigation shows. This has led to an increase in reported sightings, but it has also raised concerns among local conservationists and longtime residents. Maria Sanchez, a third-generation Big Sur resident, shares her perspective. The Dark Watchers have been a part of our local lore for as long as anyone can remember, but they were always something you respected from a distance. Now we have thrill seekers coming here, trying to hunt the Watchers. It's disrespectful to the land and to the legend itself. Indeed, some locals believe that the increased attention has made the Dark Watchers more elusive. They don't show themselves to those who seek them out, explains Robert Thornton, a local hiking guide. The Watchers choose who they reveal themselves to, and if you're lucky or unlucky enough to see one, you'll never forget it. One of the most compelling recent accounts comes from Sarah Martinez, a wildlife photographer who was camping in the Big Sur backcountry in 2018. Martinez had set up a motion-activated camera near her campsite, hoping to capture images of local wildlife. When she reviewed the footage the next morning, she was stunned to see a series of images captured just before dawn. The photos showed a tall, dark figure standing at the edge of the camera's range. In each successive image, the figure seemed to be closer, although it never appeared to move. The final image showed only an indistinct blur, as if the figure had suddenly rushed toward the camera. Martinez, shaken by what she had captured, packed up her gear and hiked out that same day. She later shared the images online, sparking intense debate in paranormal research circles. While some claimed the photos were definitive proof of the Dark Watchers' existence, others insisted they were an elaborate hoax. The truth, as is often the case with such phenomena, remains elusive. As interest in the Dark Watchers continues to grow, so too do efforts to study them more systematically. In 2020, a team of researchers from a well-known paranormal investigation group spent 6 months in Big Sur using a variety of high-tech equipment to try and capture evidence of the Watchers. Their results were inconclusive. While they recorded several instances of unexplained shadows and temperature drops, they were unable to obtain any clear visual or audio evidence of the Dark Watchers. The lead investigator, Dr. Emily Braxton, noted in her final report, "While we cannot confirm the existence of the entities known as Dark Watchers, neither can we definitively rule out their existence. The sheer volume of consistent eyewitness accounts over such a long period suggests that something unusual is indeed occurring in this area." This ambiguity only serves to deepen the mystery surrounding the Dark Watchers. Are they physical entities, spiritual guardians, or merely figments of our collective imagination? The answer may lie somewhere in between, in that shadowy realm where belief and reality intersect. What we do know is that the legend of the Dark Watchers has become an integral part of Big Sur's cultural identity. Local artists have created haunting depictions of the shadowy figures, while writers and musicians have drawn inspiration from the eerie tales. The Dark Watchers have even found their way into popular culture, appearing in video games, novels, and TV shows. Yet for those who call Big Sur home, the Dark Watchers are more than just a spooky story or a tourist attraction. They represent a connection to the land's ancient past, a reminder of the mysteries that still lurk in the wild places of the world. As the sun sets over the Pacific, painting the sky in brilliant hues of orange and purple, a solitary hiker makes their way along a narrow trail. The wind whispers through the trees, carrying with it the salty tang of the ocean. And just maybe, if they pause and look carefully, they might catch a glimpse of a tall, dark figure standing silently on a distant ridge, watching, always watching. The legend of the Dark Watchers continues to captivate and mystify. Are they guardians of an ancient land, interdimensional travelers, or simply shadows given life by our own fears and imaginations? Perhaps the true nature of the Dark Watchers will always remain just beyond our grasp, as elusive as the shadowy figures themselves. As you ponder the mysteries of Big Sur, consider this. If you found yourself on those windswept cliffs at twilight and felt the weight of unseen eyes upon you, what would you do? Would you dare to look, knowing that to acknowledge the Watchers is to invite their attention? Or would you keep your eyes on the trail ahead, quickening your steps until you reach safer ground? The choice, like the truth behind the legend, is yours to make. If you enjoyed this exploration of the Dark Watchers of Big Sur, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating dives into lesser-known urban legends and mysterious phenomena. Share your thoughts and any personal experiences in the comments below. Who knows? Your story might be featured in our next video. And remember, keep watching the shadows. You never know what might be watching back.